So one of the things that I noticed about the social media haters that I have is that a lot of them are atheists. It's because our beliefs couldn't be on more opposite ends of the spectrum. Atheists do not believe in the existence of a higher power, and psychic mediums claim to communicate with the higher power, angels, unicorns, fairies, whatever, on a daily basis. So we could not possibly be on more different pages. So these are some of the comments that atheists have had to say about me. You're delusional. This is the best laugh I've had at an idiot all day. You will end up in a prison or a mental hospital. You're a total fraud. You're a bleach blonde bimbo with blinders on and your reading comprehension skills are non-existent. You're an attention whore. Maybe you should get a real job. So I, Christine Pavlina, would prefer to just allow everyone to live and let live. Let's just agree to disagree. You have your belief system and I have my belief system. So let's just go on our merry way, live our lives, and be happy. Right? Wrong. The other side came through and they said, Christine, we want you to find atheists, jump on their back, and put them in a sleeper hold until they agree to believe in a higher power. We want you to nuzzle your face in their neck and give them Zerberts until they believe in a higher power. And I said, why? And they said, because we don't want them to cross over and find out they were wrong. Absolute truth number one, a higher power exists. There's no debating this. We can't both be right. Sorry. And as the voice of the angelic realm, they're bringing the hammer down and saying, we're here to let you know via our medium, via our voice, a higher power does exist. Period. End of story. It's the truth. It's the light. It's not debatable. It's not up for discussion and it's not up for opinion. This is a fact. That's what the other side is asserting. We do not want atheists to die and find out they were wrong. I hate to be so blunt, but I am trying to deliver the message as clearly and concisely as I possibly can. Number two, my assumption personally as Christine Pavlina, if you're an atheist and you live a good life, you'll be fine. Nope. This is another thing the other side just told me. They said leading a good life, not enough. Nope. They said if you're an atheist and you think that leading a good life is fine and that's all you need to do, they said that's incorrect. Why? Because blind faith is rewarded. And blind faith is hard. It's a lot harder to have blind faith in the existence of a higher power and literally jump off a cliff with that blind faith versus having scientific, logical, hard evidence that you can hold in your hand that a higher power exists. Why don't we have this hard scientifical, evidence? Why don't we have that scientific evidence? Because they don't want to give it to us. James Randi had a he's retired now, but he had a $1 million challenge for any psychic medium who could come forward and based on his scientific standards prove the existence of psychic abilities and the paranormal, and they would win $1 million. No one won it, and he has since retired and retired the challenge, et cetera, et cetera. So I told the other side, let's do it. Let's do it. Let me take it. Let me take it. Let me take it. We'll show everybody. It'll be awesome. And they said no. And I said, why not? And they said, because we're not here to feed your ego, Christine. That's basically all ego-based. And I said, well, why not? You could prove to everybody. And they said, what about blind faith? They said, you don't have that hard scientific evidence because we don't want to give it to you. No one has won James Randi's challenge because we don't want to give it to you. We don't want to. The answer is no. And so they said, Christine, look at your own life. How many times have we asked you to jump off a cliff? And they have. They asked me to jump off a cliff, my livelihood, my career, my finances, love life, personal relationships, reputation as a sane human being. They've had me demonstrate so many acts of blind faith in them that they are using me in my life as an example of how blind faith is rewarded. So keep an eye on me and my YouTube videos, by the way, because I'll keep making them. So you might want to subscribe. I'll keep making them and you'll get to see, because my freak show is free. So pull up a chair, whip out the Coke and popcorn, and watch my life unfurl, because they're using me as an example. But they specifically said, Christine, how many acts of blind faith have we asked you to demonstrate towards us? And we have not told you what the reward is. We're not going to tell you what the reward is. We're going to hook you up, but we're not going to show you what that is, because then you have ill intentions. Your intention is greed or whatever. So, but they still are making an example out of me for all to see. So like I said, stay tuned on that. So I specifically asked them, okay, so I'm an atheist and I do not believe in a higher power and I pass. What happens? They said, well, let's just say blind faith is rewarded. And I said, well, what happens? Like, do flames just come up and engulf me? You know, what's the deal? And they said, you are not as virtuous as other people. Like, your soul is not considered as virtuous. So virtues are what bring you closer to the higher source of divine love. And every soul, their ultimate goal is to be the closest to the divine source of love, because that basically is one big feeling of, I just landed my dream job, I just had sex with my soulmate, and I just had a piece of chocolate cake all at the same time. That's how it feels to be near the divine source of love. So that's what the souls want. So that's where they're showing me, when you cross over and you don't have that faith, you're further away from the divine. You end up having your life review, and you end up having to answer for why you did not have that faith, and lessons that have to be learned. And lessons are often learned by challenges, and that's how souls gain virtues. So it's this whole big complicated thing. But that's really where the love for God and the acknowledgement of a higher power benefit you. And so, like I said, Christine Pavlina, would just prefer it if we agreed to disagree, based on some of the comments that I get. It's like, okay, no problem. I'll leave you alone. The other side doesn't want me to leave you alone. And I'm not coming from a place of ego where it's like, oh, I can save you. I'd rather run the other way, dude. Instead, I gotta put you in a noogie because they're asking me to. I love this job. I've quit so many times. They won't leave me alone. So the bigger issue here that they also wanted me to bring up is outspoken atheism. Are you trying to convert other people? And this is a huge issue, because the problem is they're just flat out saying that you're incorrect. So you are bringing people over to your side when a higher power actually does exist. So you are going to have a lot of karmic issues here, because let's say somebody is suicidal and they want to reach out to me, and they see a comment that you wrote on my YouTube channel that goes something like this. She is a fraud, and if some of her believers read my comments and use a bit of logic, then I have succeeded. So suppose someone who was going to book a session with me because they were suicidal decided not to because they saw your comment because of your outspoken atheism. You just prevented the other side, because I'm a channel, you just prevented the other side from giving that person the healing that they needed. So that's your karma. And if they actually do commit suicide, that's on your soul. That's part of your karma, because the other side probably guided that suicidal person to my YouTube videos in order to help them and bring them healing. So that ends up all being on your soul. You're responsible for converting people to atheism. You're responsible for pulling them away from the divine. So basically what you're doing is you're betting your karma on the fact that you're correct, and the other side is coming forward and saying that you're incorrect. And because the truth is the light, and it just is, it's an absolute, you can turn your back on that truth, but karma doesn't. You can't cheat karma. So while you're turning your back on that truth, the karma is going to come from behind, jump over your head, and land in front of your face and say, okay, now we have to address the karmic balancing between you and this person that you prevented from receiving healing. Essentially, also what you're saying is that prayers are not heard and prayers are not answered. If people are praying, nobody's listening, is what you're saying as an outspoken atheist. So if you are converting people, this is really bad, I just want to say. And unfortunately, the other side is coming through and saying, unfortunately, you can't both be right. it's black and white. A higher power does exist. You do not have hard scientific evidence because we've purposely not given it to you because blind faith is rewarded. I just wanted to at least give my 2 cents and let you know that, I have friends who are atheists and we do agree to disagree. They're cool people. I'm not discriminating against you or your beliefs in any way, but I did have to channel this message, at least letting you guys know that it is the equivalent of kind of walking up to the craps table in Vegas and betting your afterlife and betting your karma and betting your soul on the fact that you're correct. And so that's why the other side is so passionate about reaching out to you guys in an attempt to convert you. And again, I know it sounds like Christine Pavlina's ego, oh, let me save you, I can save you, I'm right, everybody else is wrong. It's like, honestly, based on the, mean comments I get, I'd rather run the other way and go hit the bar and have a nice, steak with my Cabernet, but they don't let me drink. Anyway, so I hope this video helped you. A higher power does exist, and that higher power loves you enough to have me chase you down the street. In the meantime, take care and be well. Thank you.